The sounds of happy chatting and laughter came from the home of newlyweds Bessie Brown and John Allen. They lived together for years in their lovely cottage in Cameron, Oklahoma, as ghost and wife. Paranormal historians have unearthed this account of a strange haunting which is verified by multiple credible witnesses. In 1901, the Chicago Inter-Ocean newspaper reported on what was called the strangest romance ever known. Bessie Brown was the daughter of wealthy parents of high social standing and a renowned beauty who probably had her pick of prospective grooms. She had fallen in love with a man called John Allen, and the pair became engaged and set a date for the wedding. However, only a few weeks before the planned happy day, John was involved in a railroad crash and did not survive. Bessie's father described to the press reporter the sequence of events that led up to the bizarre haunting. Bessie had been constantly mourning over the loss of her life's partner and was inconsolable. When her parents tried to help her cope with her grief, she told them to leave her alone. They became concerned for her mental state due to her prolonged grieving and brought a doctor to visit her many times. He said that she seemed mentally stable, but that her physical health was worsening due to her constant anguish. She was in this depressed state for well over a year, while her parents arranged for her mental health and even brain to be tested by specialists. No trace of insanity was reported by them. Then, almost overnight, 6 weeks previously, Bessie had brightened up, to the extent that her parents feared that she was under the influence of some unknown drug. It was soon that, suddenly one day, Bessie made the statement that she had actually seen the ghost of her betrothed, Mr. John Allen. She now claimed that she would not be sorrowful any more because she was going to marry John's ghost. She related that she had given her promise to her fiancé that, if ever he died, she would marry his ghost. So now, as his spirit had appeared to her, she needed to keep her promise. Bessie's parents were now definitely concerned that their daughter had lost her mind and arranged to send her to another brain specialist in Dallas. The new doctor declared her mental state to be completely normal and that she was certainly not under the influence of any drug. He did agree that her case was unusual and even suggested that she must surely be seeing the ghost of whom she talked so much. Bessie's father asked her to introduce him to the ghost, but she said he would not be able to see it. He told the reporter that she talked reasonably about the phenomenon, saying that it was always with her. He said that she seemed to be aware that her parents thought her insane because of her strange experiences, but would then insist that she actually intended to marry the ghost. He said that Bessie then called upon the family's minister and asked him to perform the marriage ceremony. He tried to talk her out of this course of action, saying that it was sinful for her to marry a mere apparition. But Bessie insisted, and her plans went ahead. In the meantime, in preparation for a happy married life, Bessie had rented a charming cottage with her own money and had it furnished. In his interview with the Chicago Inter-Ocean, Bessie's father stated that the minister had finally gone with Bessie the previous week to perform the ceremony. They had entered the graveyard where John Allen was buried, and at midnight the nuptials had taken place. Bessie was finally joined in marriage to the ghost of the deceased man whom she had promised to marry 2 years ago, but who had then lost his life so tragically. Mr. and Mrs. Brown became convinced that, on close study of their daughter's actions, she truly believed herself to be wedded to the ghost. They concluded that his apparition was appearing to her as naturally as if his spirit was still in the body. Mr. Brown explained to the reporter that they were trying to do everything they could to make her forget her ghost, but it seemed as if they were destined to fail. After the graveyard wedding, Bessie moved into the 5-room cottage she had rented, where, the paper reported, she was now living with her spectre husband. She was often seen sitting on the back porch conversing with her invisible companion, and regularly walked along the street talking out loud to another person whom no one else was able to see. Her father said that the local town people became very excited about the strange occurrence. They all knew his daughter to be a Christian young woman and someone who would not deceive another person for the world. He said that most of them actually came to the belief that Bessie was married to the ghost of her dead lover. Despite local gossips having a field day, Bessie and John were seen to be as happy as any young married couple could be. People who passed the house were able to hear them talking and laughing, just as if they were both in human form. There eventuated the strangest romance ever known, which apparently turned into a long-lasting marriage. Although without any further documentation, some paranormal commentators have posed some tongue-in-cheek queries. Did Bessie ever look across that table one day and suddenly realise that the chair was empty? Did she ever have a yen for an earthly man, and if so, how would she have got a divorce from a spirit husband?